Me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So I was bartending at the time and I worked second shift. So before I went to work, I was hanging out with my family and my brother was talking about how him and his friends were going to the shore in the morning. So I went to work. By the time I got home, it was like after midnight and my parents worked third shift. So when I would get home, like it was just me and my brother home. And usually like he would be in his room either sleeping or just like hanging out, like playing games on his computer or whatever. Just went right up to my room and I was hanging out up there. And the way that the house is set up is my brother and I, like our rooms shared a wall. So because of the fact that we shared a wall, like you could hear pretty much everything. It was really annoying when he would have his friends over and they'd be like loud as hell. But this night, like it just sounded like, you know, he was playing on his computer because I could hear him like typing. I could hear him like clicking the mouse. I heard him like get up and down from his computer chair. I heard him sit on the bed. And I didn't think anything of it. It just was his regular noises. I went to bed around like 3 o'clock. So I woke up the next day and I had a text message from him. And it was a picture of the sunrise. And I'm thinking like how did you, like how are you sending me a picture of the sunrise? Like you were still here, like you would have had to leave like while I was still like trying to fall asleep in order to get there in time for sunrise. So I asked him, I said, how are you sending me a picture of the sunrise? And he's like, oh, we decided to leave last night at like 7 and we ended up just like sleeping in the car so we could wake up and go on the beach and take a picture of the sunrise. He left at 7 p.m. the night before, like while I was working. So I came home thinking that my brother was home with me and I was actually home alone.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true. I'll go first.
So I'm a little late to the game, but I've been really trying to work up the nerve to tell one of my many ghost stories, but I've been nervous about it because I do feel like these stories have power around them, and if I talk about it too much, weird stuff starts to happen. Buttercup is already here. She always knows when I'm gonna start talking about some weird shit. Let me just start off by saying I've always been very sensitive to like energy around me. I can always sense when there's spirits in a room or something like that, and like if you don't believe me, that's fine. Most people are a little like wary about it, whatever. But it was very prominent when I was like preteen, like 11, 12, 13 years old. And I lived in this house, and the backyard was mostly woods. And I had my own room. And how the room was set up, like the door's here, and then along the wall, there's 2 closets, like open door closets. You can see right through them. So bedroom door, first closet, second closet, and across from the second closet was my bed. So my bed, you could look directly into that closet, you could see into this closet, and then you could see the front. I had a very uneasy feeling living there, like from the start. I was only there for a few years, but there was some weird stuff that happened. I won't go into too much detail, but the stuff that had been happening, it scared me so bad I started sleeping with the lights on. And I slept with the lights on for like a whole month, and I remember keeping a journal that I lost in the move, unfortunately. I kept a journal of when I was like waking up in the middle of the night. I was waking up at 3:04 a.m. every night for a month. Exactly 3:04. I'd wake up, I'd look at my clock on my nightstand, 3:04, I'd write it down. I'd write about whatever I was dreaming about, whatever I saw. I always felt uneasy when I woke up. Try to go back to sleep. I usually could. Exactly a month. The last night of the month that I had been waking up at 3:04. I couldn't go back to sleep. And I'm laying there. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck? And I felt cold. Like, I had my blankets up. I felt so cold, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm like looking around my room, and oh my God, and my bed is facing this closet. And then there's the other closet. And I see a little girl, I say a little girl, like she was probably about my age, maybe a little younger. At the time, I was like 13, so she was probably 11 or 12, crouched in the corner of my closet. I froze. She was like hiding. It looked like she was hiding, like I was like, girl. And I pulled the covers up over my head. And a minute goes by and I pull them back down and she's standing in my closet. She's standing there and I'm shaking, but she wasn't scary. She didn't look scary. She looked scared. She looked terrified. And I was like, oh my God, I pulled the covers back over my head. I pulled them back down and now she's out of the closet. She's out of the closet. She's like standing by my bed. And I'm like, oh my God. And I finally figured out, okay, don't put the covers over your head. She's gonna just stand there and then like she'll go away when the sun goes out. I'm standing there, I'm looking at her. She's standing there, I'm looking at her. And she goes, like, I said, what? And I went to go say something and she panicked and she went, shh, shh. And I like just looked at her and she said, he's coming. And then ran back into my closet. She crouches back down. It's like 3:30 at this point. 10 minutes later, like 3:40, 3:45, a figure of a fucking man shows up in my bedroom doorway. Like I can see that. And I'm just frozen. I don't move. I don't pull the covers up over my head. I just watch him. And I didn't go back to sleep. My alarm went off for school at like 6:15. I just let it go. And like the sun came up and he disappeared. And then I got ready for school. And that's it.